Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a drugstore makeup starter kit, and I already filmed one of these about a year ago, about 2 years ago. Honestly, can't remember when it was, but this one is more of an updated one. And the reason why I wanted to do another one of these videos is because a lot of you are just coming to my channel, and I notice in the comments every time I upload like a makeup tutorial or even a haul video, I notice that a lot of you in the comments say you're just getting into makeup, you're just learning how to do makeup, and you are wanting to know what products to get, and you always ask for my recommendations, all of that good stuff. So I hope this video is really helpful for those of you, and I also hope this video is helpful for anyone who is already well into makeup, if you already know how to apply makeup. But this video is just pretty much giving you an idea of what you can purchase from the drugstore if you are wanting to build your collection, if you are brand new to makeup and you don't know where to start. So yes, I am excited because y'all already know I'm a huge fan of drugstore makeup. I love to share drugstore makeup. I love to apply drugstore makeup here on my channel. So yes, I really hope this video is helpful. I'm actually gonna go from beginning to end. So the products that you need to use before you apply your makeup, all the way to the products that you need to use once you get done applying that makeup on your beautiful face. So super excited. So if you guys are interested in seeing my updated drugstore makeup starter kit, then let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's talk about the products that you need to use before you apply your makeup. And the first step that I do is the very first step that you need to do is to make sure that your face is clean. And I kind of hate I don't have any cleansing products in front of me, but I'm actually going to list everything down below in my description. So everything that I mentioned in today's video, it will be down below in the description. But if I had to recommend any cleansing products, I will have those down there for you guys. But after I clean my face, that is when I go in with the moisturizer. Now, if you have oily skin, I know some people kind of shy away from moisturizers if they have oily skin, but there are a ton of moisturizers for oily skin, dry skin, combination skin. The one that I like to use is this one by Garnier. This is the Garnier SkinActive Moisture Rescue, and this is the one that I've actually been using in a lot of my recent videos because this is the one I threw into my everyday makeup stash for this month. But I like to use this moisturizer because it's a gel moisturizer. Now, there are a ton of different moisturizers. You can use gel moisturizers, you can use cream moisturizers, but the reason why I use gel moisturizers is because it's hot outside and I want something that's very lightweight on the skin, very breathable. So this is the one that I choose to use. So you can, like I said, there are a ton of moisturizers you can choose from. Now, if you don't want to try out a gel moisturizer, if you want something more thicker in consistency, then you can definitely try out this one by e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. Hello Hydration Face Cream. This is also one of my favorites. It's a little bit thicker, but it's not like too heavy on the skin. So this is actually a good one to use around this time of the year as well, because even though it's a little thick, it doesn't feel too heavy on the skin. Now, I know there are some people who prefer to use primer instead of moisturizer after they get done cleaning their face, and you definitely can use that. You can definitely do it that way, whichever way works for you. But if you are wanting to know what type of primer is good for you, I have two options. For those of you who have oily skin, or for those of you who have combination skin, dry skin, I wanted to pull these two out. So one is the Rimmel London Stay Matte, and did I mention this one in my other drugstore starter kit? I think I did. I try not to pull out products that I already mentioned, but you know, that may happen. But anyway, this is a mattifying primer. So if you have oily skin, this is going to be your best friend. I absolutely love this primer, and the way I use this is just in this area because I do have oily combination skin. So the only areas on my face that gets oily is my T-zone. So I like to use this just in that area. Sometimes I'll use it all over the face, but if I want to just really concentrate on my T-zone, I'll just use this, and then I'll go around my face with a different type of primer. So another primer that I would suggest using if you have dry skin is this one by Milani. This is the Prime Protect SPF 30 face primer. Now this one has SPF in it. The one by Rimmel London does the one by Rimmel London does not have SPF. And speaking of SPF, it is so important to wear SPF every day that you're going to be outside. Now, you don't have to wear it when you're inside if you're not going to be out and about, but if you are going to be outside, I highly recommend wearing an SPF. Now that is where this one comes to play. This one is a primer and an SPF, and it's also moisturizing. So you kind of have a 3-in-1 in this Milani primer, which is like, this has become one of my favorite moisturizing primers from the drugstore. But definitely wear an SPF if you are going to be outside, because you don't want your skin to be exposed to the sun, especially if you have hyperpigmentation. Those dark spots can get darker if you don't wear SPF. So make sure that you are protecting your skin every time you go outside. While we're on the subject of SPF, I totally forgot to mention this moisturizer. This is the Olay 7-in-1 anti-aging moisturizer with sunscreen. So this is a moisturizer with sunscreen, and this is one that I've used up, and I'm also almost out of these two right here. But if you are on the hunt for a moisturizer that has sunscreen in it, this is good. But the only downfall with this is if you put this around your eye area, say if you rub your eyes, it is going to burn. So make sure that you are careful with applying this around your eye area, because if it gets in your eyes, it's going to burn. But other than that, this is a really good moisturizer to you know, try out and just use if you don't have any other moisturizers that has SPF in it. So those are the moisturizers, those are the primers. So after you get done cleaning your face, make sure that you moisturize and prime the skin, because that is going to help with the longevity of your makeup. It's going to give you that smooth canvas before you apply your makeup, and it's also going to protect your skin. Okay, now that your skin is prepped, it's clean, it's moisturized, it's primed, now it's time to go in with your makeup. So I pulled out two foundations in my collection that I thought were perfect for beginners. And I have two options. One is more of a full coverage, it's more of a satin finish. The other one is a little bit more dewy than the other. So starting out with the one that gives you a nice satin finish, this one is e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is the Flawless Finish Foundation, and I use the shade Nutmeg. They came out with new shades, so this one is actually one that I like better than the one that I was using, which is in the shade Coco. But Nutmeg is a little bit darker than Coco, but I like to use a foundation that's a tad bit darker than my actual skin tone, because once I start applying my concealer, it evens everything out. So the shade Coco is actually my perfect shade for this part of my face, because this part of my face is lighter than the perimeter of my face, but this one is a little bit darker, and I prefer to use a foundation that's just a tad bit darker, because once you apply your concealer, it kind of evens everything out. So we'll go into concealers in a few minutes, but this one is perfect for those of you who are wanting a full coverage foundation. Me personally, I feel like this gives me a full coverage. I don't have to use a lot of the product, so a little bit of this is going to go a long way. It is oil free, and like I said, it does give you that nice satin finish. So this is under $10, and I feel like this is a really great option for those of you who are just getting into applying foundations, you know, just experimenting with liquid foundations. This is a great option, and it does have a pump, so it is easy to use and not messy. So this will be a great option for you guys. And the other foundation that I wanted to pull out is this one by Loreal. This is the Loreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I think I did a full review on this, I'm not sure, but if you ever want to know if I did a review on a product, you can always type in Andrea Renee and then let's just say L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. You can type that in the YouTube search bar, and any video that I did on this foundation will pop up, and that's with anything. So since this doesn't have a full coverage, you don't really have to worry about if you apply too much the first layer that you put on your face. So this is really good to try out. It does say it's a 24-hour wear foundation, so this is a long wearing foundation. Now I have not worn this for 24 hours. I've never worn makeup for 24 hours, so I can't really vouch for that, but I can say this has held up on my skin for a good 8 to 9 hours, because I do wear makeup at least 8-9 hours out of the day if I am wearing makeup. But this is really good, as well as the e.l.f. foundation. All right, going into the concealer, remember when I said I like to use a foundation that's a little bit darker, because the concealer kind of evens everything out. With concealers, you want to make sure that you're getting something that's about a shade or two lighter than your actual foundation shade. That is only if you want to highlight your skin. So concealers are used, you can use concealers in several different ways. The way I use a concealer is to highlight my under eye. my bridge of my nose, my forehead, and my chin. So anywhere that the light hits, that is where I highlight my skin. So with the concealer, this one is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I use the shade Tan in this one, but this one is in the shade Caramel. This one is a little bit lighter than Tan. I ran out of Tan, so I'm gonna start using this one. And the reason why I chose this one to recommend is because this one is easy to apply. It does have a little sponge tip, so you just twist it up and the product comes out, and then you can just easily apply it on your face like that. Another way that you can use concealer is to spot conceal. And when I mean spot conceal, I mean to conceal anywhere on your face that you have dark spots. And the way I used to do that is I would get a concealer that is actually my skin tone, like a concealer that matches my foundation, to spot conceal my face. So that way it won't look too light once I apply the concealer on, you know, any spots that I have on my face. So you can spot conceal, or you can use it to highlight the areas on your face that the light hits. So you can also use a concealer as foundation. I mean, you can get a concealer that's your shade and use it as a foundation. Just dot on a few dots, blend it out, and that could be your full foundation. Or you can use a concealer to contour your face. So if you want to really sculpt out your face, I would say get a concealer that's darker than your average foundation shade. So maybe a shade or two darker than what you use, because with contouring you don't want to use a product that's the same shade or lighter, because you won't see a shadow on your face. Like, it won't give you that dimension. But we will get into contouring and bronzers in a few minutes, but just kind of want to touch base on this concealer. Perfect for beginners, and like I said, it's super easy to apply, and I like the coverage of this. I don't think I mentioned the coverage, but this gives you a nice coverage. It's not like a full-blown full coverage, but this is a buildable concealer. It's not too sheer, it's not too much of a full coverage. It's that perfect medium, which I like. I feel like I have a ton of different other products that I could recommend as far as like concealers, foundations, but I really wanted to narrow down the products in today's video, so that way if you are just beginning into makeup, if you are new to makeup, you won't get overwhelmed. So if you want to see like a full-blown video of all of my drugstore like recommendations, let me know and I'll be more than happy to do that video for you guys. But today is all about kind of, you know, minimizing the products to share with you guys if you are learning about makeup. All right, so after the concealer comes setting powder, and I cannot stress to you guys how much it is important to set your face. When I first started doing YouTube, when I first started filming videos, those videos that I filmed, like my makeup tutorials, I would never set my face. Like, I never owned a setting powder until maybe a few months into me doing my YouTube channel. But I never set my face, and you guys can see that if you search. I don't even know if I can find those videos, but I know for a fact the few videos that I filmed, like my first few makeup tutorials, I would never set my face. I would use foundation, concealer, and then go on top of that with a little blush, and I'd be good to go. I never use setting powder, but it is so important to set the face, because if you don't use setting powder, your makeup will run, it will break up, it will not last. So the setting powder that I want to recommend is a pressed setting powder. And the reason why I want to recommend something that's pressed over a loose setting powder is because these are so much easier to use, and I feel like this is definitely beginner friendly. So all you do is just swirl your brush around this and then just apply wherever it is on your face that you applied your concealer, your foundation. So what I do with this, I'll take a brush, which we'll get into brushes later on, but just swirl your brush around here, and then you just lightly pat it where you applied your concealer, pat it all over the face. I know this one by Rimmel London, did I say what this was? This is the Rimmel London Stay Matte Setting Powder, but they have several different shades in this powder. This one is the translucent, and this is the one that I use to set my concealer. So with setting powders, you can set your concealer and you can also set your entire face. I like to use translucent powders to set my concealers because it just kind of keeps the lightness right there. Like, did I say that right? It keeps the brightness in the middle of my face where the light hits. So I don't want anything that's, you know, my skin tone to set my concealer, because it's kind of take away the brightness of the concealer. So I always use translucent. If I don't use translucent, I'll use banana, but I prefer translucent over banana powders. But yeah, definitely try out a pressed setting powder first if you are just learning how to do your makeup and you don't know, you know, which direction to go as far as purchasing a setting powder. So pressed ones are your best bet. Speaking of pressed ones, I do have another one, and this is a pressed foundation powder. Now this is the one that you can put all over your face, and I like to use both. So after I set my concealer with my setting powder, I'll go on top of my face with a pressed foundation powder. And I don't use a lot of the product because this is a foundation. You already have foundation on your face from applying the liquid foundation. So if you are going to go over your liquid foundation with the pressed foundation powder, I would say use a very, very, very small amount. So this is the Maybelline Stay Matte Full, well, no. The Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Pressed Foundation Powder. And I use the shade 355. I'm also in the shade 355. In the Maybelline foundations, which, by the way, I do have a list of my foundation shades down below in my description. I always try to keep that down there so you guys can kind of reference down there if you think you are my skin tone or my shade. But yeah, pressed foundation powders are good if you are wanting to set your entire face after you do your makeup, if you don't want to use a translucent setting powder. Now, the thing, I feel like I'm talking way too much. But the thing about translucent powders is it does not take away from the color. Like it doesn't, you can actually use a translucent powder all over your face without it looking white. It's just the thing about that is you have to have a very light hand when you're doing that because it can look a little white, but just don't use a lot of the product because, you know, it can start looking too ashy if you use too much of the translucent. But it's translucent because it doesn't, you know, show up. It ain't supposed to show up on your face. But yes, those are the two powders that I recommend if you are just learning, you know, how to do your makeup. Another thing about the powder, girl, I'm talking way too much. But another thing about pressed foundation powders is you can actually use these, by themselves. So you don't necessarily have to apply your liquid foundation and then go on top of that with a pressed foundation powder. What I used to do is I would spot conceal. Back when I had a lot of dark spots on my skin, I would just spot conceal with a concealer that's the same shade as my foundation shade. I'll blend it out a little bit and then I'll go on top of that with a pressed foundation powder. And those are on those days when I want to wear a very, very, very small amount of makeup, like a minimal makeup look. That is what I used to do. I sometimes do it still, just dust on a little powder and go. But yeah, you can use this and however you want to use it. All right, so these next steps are more complexion products, but these are steps that you don't have to do, especially if you don't want to apply like bronzer, blush. If you don't want to do that, you definitely don't have to do these steps. But the next step that I would take is to apply bronzer. And what a bronzer does is it warms up the face. So after I get done applying my foundations, my powders, I feel like my face is flat, like there's no dimension. So I always like to go in with a bronzer. And there are so many different options you can choose from when it comes down to bronzers. You can actually use a pressed foundation powder for a bronzer, and the one that I would recommend is this one by Black Radiance. This is the shade Ebony, and this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful as a bronzer. This is a little bit darker than my actual, you know, complexion, so it is perfect as a bronzer. Like I said, this is a powder foundation, but if you're having a hard time looking for a bronzer in the drugstore, just get a powder foundation that's a little bit darker than your skin, and you can use it as a bronzer. So this is what Ebony looks like. It is so beautiful on the skin. I feel like I don't really mention this much on my channel, but just to give you guys options, if you can't find a good bronzer in the drugstore, which it is so hard to find a bronzer for, you know, deeper skin in the drugstore. So just find a pressed foundation powder. I know they have a darker foundation powder in the Maybelline Superstay. So anything that's a little bit darker than your actual, you know, complexion, even if it is a foundation powder, you can still use it as a bronzer, even with contouring. Now, the difference between contouring and bronzing, contouring gives you that shadow, so it really just sculpts your face. Bronzing gives you more of a, like, it gives you more warmth on the skin. And I prefer to bronze up my skin than actual contouring. So if you are wanting to contour, you need to get something that's definitely a little bit darker than a bronzer, and something that's more of a cool tone. Now bronzers, I'll go for something that's more warm, more red tone with bronzers. And with contour shades, I would go for something that's more of a cool tone, grayish type, but not so much gray because I hate, ugh. See, that's why I don't contour. I just bronze because I don't like to worry about if it's too gray, if it's too cool tone. Girl, I just bronze my face and I'm good to go. But yeah, this is a good option if you are wanting to get into bronzing your face. Now, after you bronze your skin, if you're wanting more color, like color on the cheeks, then you would go in with a blush. And I have 1, 2, 3 blushes to share with you. One of them is actually, I think, no, 2, I feel like I mentioned in my other drugstore starter kit video, but I just feel like I just need to always mention these because they're so good. Like, they are so freaking good. They are the best drugstore blushes that I have ever run across, and I recommend these to everybody. Even if you're not just beginning in makeup, I recommend these to everybody, okay? Everybody. So the first one I want to talk about is this one by e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. What do they call it? Primer Infused Blush in the shade Always Spicy. Girl, this, when I tell you, is the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mauve-y, rosy, bricky. Girl, I don't even know how to explain it, but this is so pretty on the skin. I did get this on the e.l.f. Cosmetics website. I have not seen this shade in stores, but I have seen all the other shades that they have in this type of blush, but I've never run across this particular shade in store. But if you can find this in store, snatch it, get it, run. Now, this is a matte blush, so you don't have any shimmer in it. So if you are on the hunt for a good matte blush, this one by e.l.f. is what you need. This next blush is for those of you who are not really wanting to really highlight your face. You're wanting something with a little color, but at the same time it gives you that glow, like that nice subtle sheen. And that is the one by Milani. This is my all-time favorite shade in the Milani blushes, and it's called Red Vino. This one is so old. I'm actually gonna throw this one away. I do have a new one that I just purchased not too long ago. And what I like about this blush is not only the color, but it has gold, like a gold sheen to it. It is so pretty on the skin. Like, girl, when I tell you, this is so pretty, especially for deeper complexions. This is so pretty, so pretty. But yeah, this is perfect for beginners, especially if you're not really wanting to get into highlighting the face just yet, because this one does have a slight sheen to it. So that is that. I feel like I can go on and on and on with blushes because those are actually one of my favorite products besides bronzers and eyeshadows. But another blush that I actually have been loving recently, it's actually kind of new to me and I started using it this year, is this one by Loreal. This is the Paradise Enchanted blush in the shade Charming. And out of the 3, if I could recommend just one out of the 3 that is going to give you color but not too much color, because all of these are pigmented, I will say that, but if I recommend one out of all of these that are going to give you, that's going to give you a very, very subtle color on the face, because I know if you're just starting out, you don't, want to go overboard with the, with the color. But out of the 3, I feel like this one will be perfect, because this one actually, you can build the color up more and more. So the first application, you can see the color, but it's, it's not as bold as these 2 right here. So these, you have to have a very light hand with. I would say more so with the e.l.f. one, because this one is extra, extra, extra pigmented. So have a very, very, very light hand when you're using this. And the one by Milani, this one is not as pigmented as e.l.f., but it is pigmented. But yeah, those are the blushes that I recommend. Let's talk about some eyeshadow palettes. Girl, there are so many eyeshadow palettes that I could recommend to you, and I tried my best to pull out, not a lot, but I pulled out 5. I pulled out 5 eyeshadow palette, and that's because these are the I want to say the cheapest ones in my collection, but they are some of the best ones in my collection. So the first 2 that I want to talk about are these by Wet n Wild. They actually changed their formula. I feel like they changed the formula in these, but these are some good shadows. This one is Comfort Zone. So this one has your blue, it has green, it has your mauve, everyday shades in here. So it's really fun, really pretty. This is also a good palette to use as an everyday palette if you're wanting something very subtle on the eyes, or even if you want to kind of play in color. This will be a good option because you do have a couple of shades in here that are colorful. It's not overwhelming. It's very small. You can fit this in your makeup bag. But this is a great option for you. Also, this one called Rose in the Air. Another nice everyday palette. So if you are more so into warm tone shades, neutral shades, this one is good for you as well. So you don't really have color in here as much as you do the comfort zone one, but this one is also really good. Come on, focus. What is going on? My camera. But this one is a good option for you. Now, if you want to dip into color, if you are still new to makeup, but you're not afraid to dip into color, but you don't know what eyeshadow palette to get from the drugstore that has colorful shades, that is pigmented, that blends well, then the one that you really need to try out is this one by e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is called their Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette, and I have used this a couple of times on my channel. I think I used it when I did like an all matte look. It's been a while. It's been a while, but I know I've used this. This is beautiful. The shades, pigmented. Blend, perfect. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on their eyeshadow palettes, and they actually just updated the actual palette. Like at first they didn't have the clear in the front where you can see the shades, but now it's clear. So when you see it on the shelf, you know what you're picking up instead of just seeing it on the plastic or the little paper box that it comes in. But this is one of my favorites. I love that you have some shades in here that you can wear as an everyday look, and you also have some shades in here that you can play in to give you that bright, fun, colorful look. So this will be a great option for, you know, those of you who are ready to dip into color and are not afraid to, you know, go outside your box. Another one that I recommend is these by Makeup Revolution. They have a ton of different eyeshadow palettes, but this one in particular I would highly recommend to people who are not wanting to really dip into color. Somebody who wants that everyday look, but at the same time warm, rosy. So this is a great one, a great option to choose. And this one is the Reloaded Neutrals 2. So you have your warm shades, you have your pinks, you have your rosy tone shades. So beautiful. These are pigmented as well. Now all of the palettes that I'm showing you are buildable, blendable, pigmented, and they're easy to blend. And that's my main reason of showing you guys the palettes that I'm showing you. And the last palette that I want to show has actually become one of my favorites from the drugstore. And I know it's another warm palette. I love warm tones, but this one is by Flower Beauty. This one has more yellows in here, so if you're into yellows, if you're wanting to play with yellows, this palette has two beautiful yellows in here that is perfect to, you know, kind of start out with. It also has your warm tones in here as well, and also a couple of shimmers. So you have a few shimmers, you have this really light shade that'll be great as kind of like a base on your eyes before you apply other shades. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And another reason that I wanted to mention this one is because this has one of the best eyeshadow brushes. I know a lot of palettes from the drugstore, they come with those little spongy looking things, but this brush in here is perfect for blending out your crease, for applying shadow on the lid. Like, this is a really good brush, you guys. So definitely don't throw this away. And I know a lot of people throw away their little eyeshadow brushes once they get them from the drugstore, but definitely don't throw this brush away. It's good. All right, we're almost done. I know this video is super duper long, but let's talk about some mascara, some eyeliner, some brows. Let's talk about that. So as far as mascaras, a ton of mascaras you can choose from the drugstore. Like, there are a ton, but if I had to narrow it down to two mascaras that I feel like is perfect for the everyday girl, for the beginner, the first one I would choose is the one by Flower Beauty. This is the Warrior Princess mascara, and the reason why I would choose this one is because this is perfect for those who have really, really, really tiny lashes. and you want your lashes to look longer, you want them to look more voluminous, more full, this is a perfect mascara for that. And I do have a full video on this where I show you guys how I apply my mascara. So if you guys want to check out that video, I'll try to find it. I'll have it linked down below, or you can just search Andrea Renee Flower Beauty and then the video will pop up. So this is definitely one that I would highly recommend to try out if you are on the hunt for a good mascara. And the other one I would recommend is this one by CoverGirl. This is the CoverGirl I always get tongue-tied when I say this. Exhibitionist mascara. This one is kind of similar to the Flower Beauty. The only difference I would say is the one by Flower Beauty, the actual wand is thicker than the one by CoverGirl, but they both have that hourglass, kind of like that hourglass shape. This one is thicker, and I feel like the little bristles on here are a little bit longer than the one by CoverGirl. So this one, let me show you. It still has that nice little hourglass shape, so this is going to be perfect to extend your lashes and just make them look longer and more voluminous, more full. But I feel like both of these mascaras are great. The one by CoverGirl, this one is actually easier for me on my bottom lashes than the one by Flower Beauty, because this one is a little bit bigger. So it's a little bit harder to get to my bottom lashes, or just, you know, apply it on my bottom lashes since they're so tiny. But this one by CoverGirl is a little bit easier to apply it on my bottom lashes than the one by Flower Beauty. But all in all, these are great to try out. They're great for beginners, and they're just great to start out your, you know, your makeup collection if you're looking for a good mascara. All right, let's talk about eyeliners. I know when I first started using or wearing makeup, I would never use a liquid liner. I always use a pencil because I felt like it was easier for me. You can use liquid, you can use a pencil, so I have both of them to share if you guys are wanting to kind of weigh out your options. So as far as liquid eyeliner, when I use liquid eyeliner, I would only use it on the top of my, on the top instead of the bottom where my waterline is, because it's liquid. You don't want it to go in your eyes. So this is easier to apply on the top of your eyes. So this is the CoverGirl, what is the actual name of this? CoverGirl liquid liner. That's all it says. I don't know, but that's all it says. But this is what it looks like. So this one is by CoverGirl, and they have two of these. This one is the matte one, and they have another one that's going to give you a more like a vinyl. Is that the word? It's not matte, let's just say that. So if you are on the hunt for an eyeliner that's matte, that's not going to flake up, that's easy to apply, this is it. So, but this is what the little point looks like. Very, very, very easy to apply, and you just, you know, apply it on your eyes like that. But if you don't want to use a liquid eyeliner, the eye pencils that I have a few to share. So the first two I want to share are by a brand that I actually discovered this year, and that is Joa Beauty. These have become my holy grail eyeliners. They are so easy to apply. They're very creamy, and I like how they twist up. When it comes down to eyeliners, I definitely recommend getting ones that twist up over the ones that you have to sharpen, because say if you don't have a pencil sharpener and your eyeliner runs out, then you're screwed. So I would say get the ones that are retractable, so you can just twist them up. So I have a brown one, and I also have a black one, and I use brown eyeliner for my bottom lash line because it's not as harsh as black. Another one that I would recommend is these by Essence, and I think I mentioned these in my other drugstore starter kit video. I know I've mentioned these quite a few times in some of my drugstore videos, but hands down, some of the best, more affordable eyeliners. These are, I want to say, maybe like $3. They're under $5. I know that for a fact. But this is another one of those eyeliners that twists up, and this one is super duper creamy as well. And another one is actually a recommendation from you guys. I think I did like a full face drugstore video earlier this year, and a lot of you in the comments were recommending eyeliners by LA Girl. So I tried them out, and I love them. This is another one that twists up, because I love twist up eyeliners. But this is another one that's brown. I love a brown color, you guys. If you can't already tell, I love brown for my waterline, and that's pretty much all I use when it comes to eyeliners is a brown liner for my waterline. I do have on a black one today because I'm filming and I feel like black shows up, like it makes my eyes pop a little bit more. But on those days when I'm not filming, like if I want to do an everyday look, I'll use a brown eyeliner for my liner. All right, let's talk about your brows. You can do brow pencil, you can do brow pomade, you can do a brow powder, whichever you choose. I personally prefer to use brow pencil because it's easier for me. And I feel like when it comes down to those who are just beginning in makeup, it's gonna be easier to use a brow pencil because they're just so much easier to apply on your brows. So the brow pencil that I would highly recommend is this one by CoverGirl. This is called their Easy Breezy, what is it? They have like a different name on the website, and then on the actual pencil it doesn't even say it, but on the website it's called the Easy Breezy Micro Fine and Define Brow Pencil. But this is a ultra fine brow pencil, and I use the shade Soft Brown, and I like this because it's so skinny, and since it's so skinny, it's so much easier to really define my brows. And I also like how it doesn't break easily, it glides on really easily, but at the same time it's not too waxy, and it also comes with a little spoolie. So if you are wanting a brow pencil, I would recommend getting one that comes with the little spoolie at the end, because this is going to kind of help you with brushing out your brow hairs. It's going to help you with blending out the product on the brows after you get done applying it on your brows. So if you are you know, on the hunt for a good affordable brow pencil from the drugstore, I highly recommend this one by CoverGirl. All right, let's talk about false lashes. And I know there may be a lot of you who don't even want to apply false lashes, or you just don't feel the need to, or you just don't really want to fool with them. But I still want to recommend the lashes to you guys because they are my personal favorites from the drugstore, and they are the ones that I wear in pretty much every single one of my videos. And that is these by Ardell. These are their Rimmel lashes in the style 778. At first I would use the Ardell double up demi wispies, but ever since I discovered these, I think these came out this year. Ever since I discovered these, ever since I tried them out, I have not put these down. I wear these, like I said, in every one of my videos. I have them on right now. I love how they flare out at the end, and they're also kind of short right here. They're fluttery, they're natural looking, they're very lightweight. I know some lashes, they can be heavy on the eyes, but these are very, very, very light, and they're super easy to apply. So highly recommend these if you are wanting to kind of experiment with some lashes. Even the other lashes by Ardell, they have some of the best affordable lashes that are perfect for beginners. So these are just my personal favorites. And I don't think I've ever mentioned my lash glue on my channel. Like, I'm always talking about my lashes, but I never talk about the lash glue that I use. So this is also from the drugstore, and it's all that I use. Like, it's by Duo, D-U-O. And this one is the dark one. I always use dark because I feel like the ones that are white, I don't know, in my mind, I feel like once they dry down, it's still not black. But this one is a black glue, and it's, girl, this is so easy. It's kind of hard to open because it's kind of drying up. This one's kind of old. But this is so easy to apply on your lashes. I'll apply it on my lash, and I'll let it sit for a few minutes. You don't want to apply your lash glue and then go straight on to applying the lash, because they can slip and slide. They're not going to stick. So if you are going to wear false lashes, you would need to apply the glue on the lash band, and then just let the lash band or let the lash sit there for, you know, a couple of minutes while you do your, you know, your other stuff on your face. And then once it's kind of tacky, you can actually try to tap it a little bit with your finger, or I don't know, something, but you'll know when it's tacky because it's sticky. So once it's sticky, that's when you apply your lashes, and it's so much easier to apply lashes once you let that lash glue sit, once it gets tacky. I know when I first started using you know, wearing lashes, I would never let it sit. I would always just go straight into applying the lashes without letting the glue dry, and I would be so frustrated because the lashes, like, they would never stay put. And that's when I was like, you know what, forget it, I'm never gonna wear lashes. And then I started watching more videos on YouTube and hearing people say you need to let it sit to get tacky before you apply your lashes. So ever since then, ever since I learned that I need to let the lash glue sit on the lash band for a few minutes, I have not put down a false lash. So Yes. All right, so those are pretty much all of the makeup products. Let's talk about makeup brushes. And when it comes down to makeup brushes, I think the best thing for you to do is to get a set of brushes. And I know I mentioned this in my but my other drugstore starter kit video, but I want to mention it again in today's video because I feel like it's just so much easier to buy a set of brushes than buying one brush for, separately. So I do have my own little makeup brush set that I know a lot of you are not aware of because you are just coming to my channel, but I did collab with a black-owned business to create a 6-piece brush set, and I don't have the other brush because I lost it, but this is my powder brush, which you guys see in pretty much all of my tutorials. I'm always using this powder brush, and it also comes with a angled contour brush, so you can use this as a blush brush. You can use this to apply your bronzer. You can use this to apply your contour. Also with the powder brush, you can use this for applying your powder, even your blush. It also comes with a pencil shader brush. Now this is the one that I always use for my bottom lash line, like where I apply my eyeliner. Also when I just kind of dip into like an eyeshadow, if I kind of want to smoke it out, which is what I always do, I'll just use that to smoke that out. You can also use this to apply to your inner corner highlight. You can use this to apply a shadow in your crease. And also it comes with a tapered highlighting brush. Now you can use this to apply highlighter. You can use this to apply your blush. You can use this to set your concealer. So that is where the Stay Matte setting powder is going to come into play. So you can use this brush to swirl it in here and just set that concealer. And the other brush that my brush set comes with is a flat top kabuki brush. So this is great to use with stick foundations, liquid foundations. You can just kind of buff in that foundation with this brush. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting a brush set over getting just purchasing brushes by themselves because it's so much cheaper to do that, and you pretty much get your essentials in the brush set. So if you guys are wanting to shop my brush set, I will have a link down below in the description. Now they're obviously not from the drugstore, but they are affordable. Now let's go into a couple of brushes that I personally love from the drugstore. Now when it comes down to eyeshadow, my favorite eyeshadow brush is by Morphe. This isn't drugstore, but it is a drugstore price. You can get these from Ulta in the section where they have, all the drugstore products, but excuse me, this is the Morphe M504. I use this all the time. I use this to buff out my crease. I use this to blend out the shadow all over the lid. This is my holy grail eyeshadow brush that I just cannot get enough of. I purchased, I think, 4 or 5 of these, and I just love it. So this is the perfect blending brush for beginners, the perfect blending brush for anyone who, is doing their makeup, the perfect blending brush. Another brush that I want to recommend is actually another powder brush, but this one is by Joa Beauty, and this is, I want to say, like $5. It's very affordable. I got this from CVS, and this has become one of my favorite blush brushes. I use this in a lot of my tutorials. This one is a dupe to the Too Faced Teddy Bear powder brush, and those brushes come in a set, but this is like an exact dupe to that. I actually have that. Let me show it to you. All right, so this is the Too Faced powder brush, and then we have this one by Joa Beauty. So these are pretty much the same exact brush. It's just that they're dirty, but yeah, the same brush. This one is just under $10, super affordable. The bristles, like, they feel the same. It's the same. So if you're not wanting to spend like $40 on this brush set just to get this brush, check out your local CVS and you'll find this one in there. Another brush that I want to mention to you guys is actually another dupe, and that is this one by Milani. This is a dupe to the, do I have it in front of me? Yes, I do. Yes. So this is the dupe to the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush. Very similar, but I got this one out of the little wrapper, so it does kind of still have that skinny form because it hasn't really been used. But this is a dupe to the well, the Milani one is a dupe to the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush. This is the one that you guys see me use a lot, and I know I always have a lot of people asking me what brush it is. You can get this from Walmart. You can get this from Target. And it's called the All Over Blending Brush, but it's like a highlighter brush. So it's perfect to apply the highlight on your cheeks, forehead, nose, wherever you want to apply highlighter. Ooh, by the way, I did not even mention highlighter in today's video. Dang, I don't even have highlighter in front of me. If I have any recommendations on highlighters, I'll definitely have those down below in the description as well. I think I just got carried away on the blushes, because the Milani blush is kind of like a 2-in-1, so you have the blush and the highlighter in one. But anyway, those are the brushes that I highly recommend. Now, when it comes down to sponges, you can use a sponge to blend out your foundation. You can use your sponge to blend out concealer. I personally like using makeup beauty sponges to blend out my foundation and my concealer, and also applying my setting powder. Now, I didn't wash my sponges before sitting down to do this video because I just did my face. But the sponge that I want to recommend, that I highly recommend, that everybody needs to try out, is this one by Sonia Kashuk. This is the one I use in pretty much all of my tutorials. A lot of people always ask what sponge it is, and it is the Sonia Kashuk sponge from Target. And then I have this other one that I also love by Sonia Kashuk. This is the one that I would use to kind of apply my concealer and also apply my setting powder. It's pretty dirty, but yeah, this is another one by Sonia Kashuk. All right, so we got the moisturizers out of the way, we got the SPFs, we got the primers, we got all the makeup out of the way, we got the brushes out of the way, and the sponges. Let's talk about how we need to remove the makeup, because this is very, very, very important. You do not want to go to bed with makeup all over your face, because you can get breakouts and it's just gonna look ugly. So when it comes down to removing all of your makeup, I personally would recommend using a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm. I know I recommended cleansing wipes in my last drugstore starter kit, but I want to recommend a cleansing balm or a cleansing oil to you guys, because I find using those, they're not as harsh as using a makeup wipe, because makeup wipes, they can tend, even though there are some from the drugstore that are great, like the ones from Elf Cosmetics, those are my favorite ones, but I just feel like cleansing oils and cleansing balms are just so much more gentle on the skin, and they just get everything off the face before you go into cleaning your face. So the one that I want to recommend is actually a new one to me, and I started using this about a month ago, and this one is Pond's. This is the Pond's Cold Cream Cleansing Balm. Now, I know I actually mentioned this one in one of my videos about a month or two back, and I had a couple of people down in the comments saying that this was not new. This has been out for years and years and years, but I think there was some confusion there, because I know Pond's, like the cold cream, has been out for like years. Like, it has been out forever, but they just came out with this cleansing balm recently. So this is a new product, but the Pond's Cold Cream Cleanser is not new. Like the one that come in the white container with the blue top, and then they have one with the pink top. I think there's one with the green top. Those I know have been out for years, but this particular product has been out, not like, it recently came out. So this is actually one that a subscriber recommended to me, and this is very, very, very similar to the Clinique Take the Day Off or Take the Day Away. It's a cleansing balm, but this is the more affordable option. So what a cleansing balm does, it just melts away your makeup. So you want to make sure by the end of the day that your face is clean. So you want to make sure that you're getting all of the makeup off. And the first thing I do is go in with the cleansing oil or the cleansing balm. So this is the balm. The cleansing oil that I want to recommend, I don't have in front of me because I threw it away because I ran out of it. But it is the Cocoa Butter by Palmer's cleansing oil, and I know a lot of you are very familiar with that because I know I talk about that a lot on my channel, but that is my all-time favorite cleansing oil from the drugstore. I will have that link down below as well, but when it comes down to cleansing balms, this is one that I would recommend. The differences between the two, I want to say cleansing oils are just, they're an oil and this is a balm. So this I can't really show you because I ran out. You guys see that I really like this product, but I ran out of this. This is a balm. So once you put it on your hand, it actually melts down to like an oil. So once you put it on your face, that is when it just melts everything off the face, and then you just rinse it off. And then after that, that is when you need to go in with your cleanser. So just cleaning your face with a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm, that is not going to cut it. You still need to go in with a cleanser. I don't have a cleanser in front of me to share with you guys, but the cleansers that I recommend from the drugstore, I will have them down below as well. Hopefully my description can fit everything that I'm talking about in today's video. But yes, take that makeup off. Do not go to bed with your makeup on. I also want to mention these. These are the Garnier SkinActive Micellar Eye Makeup Remover Pads. These are great to use to remove that eye makeup. So if you don't just want to use a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm, and you just want something to make sure that all of your eye makeup is off before you go in with your cleanser, these are really, really good. These get rid of all of that waterproof makeup, like that hard to get away makeup. This is really good. So what I do is I'll just take one of the cleansing pads out and I'll just put it over my eye, leave it on there for a couple of seconds, and then I'll just wipe it off, and then I'll just wipe it away, and all of my makeup comes off on my eyes. So this is really great to use. And then I always use my cleansing oil after I do that. But this is a great option if you are looking for something that's great to remove, you know, all of the eye makeup. One more thing that I forgot to mention that I wanted to mention earlier is a product to clean your brushes, because you want to make sure that your brushes are clean, even though I know my brushes are barely ever clean. And the product that I always use, like I don't even buy any legit brush cleaners anymore, because this product right here is like, this is it. This is it. This is the Shea Moisture African Black Soap. This cleans my brushes so fast, so easily. Like this not tried it out. Just try it out. Just try it. And once you try it, let me know that you tried it, and you're welcome. But yes, that is all that I have for my updated makeup starter kit from the drugstore. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are just getting into makeup, let me know. Let's chit chat down below in the comments. Even if you're not just getting into makeup, if there was any products that I shared in today's video that you like, let me know. And also, if there's any products from the drugstore that you recommend to me that you think I would like, let me know that as well. So let's go ahead and chit chat down below in the comments. I am doing a giveaway on my channel for this whole year. So every single month I give away one box to one person, and it's super easy to enter the giveaway. All you have to do is make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you thumbs up the video, as well as leave a comment down below in the comment section. And I don't want the comments to be anything about the giveaway. So let's talk about what is in your starter kit. Let's talk about if you are going to be purchasing anything that I shared in today's video. Let's just talk about all the products that we shared in today's video, and what you like, what you dislike, and also things that you recommend to me. So I think that's all that I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you thumbs it up. Make sure you are subscribed if you're not subscribed already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.